Back in Canada.
First-year student Chris Brooks unpacks after his March break.
I love going back home, just, see family, friends, see my dog, everything. But it's always great coming back, seeing my friends in res.
Home, however, is in another country. The 7-hour drive to New Hampshire includes a border crossing, something Kelsey Treitz is familiar with after her 3 years studying in Canada.
Now that I've been in Canada for 3 years, I've really gotten used to the slight culture differences. I use Fahrenheit and Celsius pretty regularly now. I've gotten used to the money and having loonies and toonies on me all the time. It's pretty funny. And more to the sayings. And I feel like I kind of stand out less as an American. I've kind of learned to blend into the crowd more.
Treitz adjusted easily, but says studying in Canada never crossed her mind until one day in guidance.
I found out about studying in Canada through my guidance counselor. She knew a family from Maine whose daughter went to school at STU, so she told me to go check it out, which I did, and I ended up loving it.
Loving St. Thomas University so much that her guidance counselor encouraged more students to look north.
Yeah, I went to a really small high school, Kingswood, in Wolfboro, New Hampshire.
Brooks is one of 7 Kingswood students in 3 years to head to Canada for school, 5 at St. Thomas. American students say the U.S. and Canada are very similar, but there is one main difference. It's just not home. Leaving home for the first time can be hard, and moving out of the country only intensifies this. So why are American students packing their bags to head north of the border? It could have something to do with these.
The cost was the deciding factor.
The biggest reason why I ended up going to study in Canada was really the price. I'm paying less to go to school in Canada than I would be to go to the University of New Hampshire, which is really impressive.
Treitz and Brooks would pay New Hampshire resident prices at UNH. In-state tuition is less expensive but limits a student from leaving their home state. American students at St. Thomas say even with international tuition costs, Canada is more affordable. Treitz family welcomed the idea of fewer student loans.
Definitely a benefit financially. She's in a much smaller school, in my opinion, getting a much better education, and we're spending significantly less money.
Kingswood guidance counselor Sheila Foley says studying in Canada is a wonderful opportunity.
We always say to the kids now, let's look at Canada, which we just think has been a real blessing for us, especially in this economy, a huge blessing. It's opened up options for our kids that they never would have had before.
American students need a passport and student visa to study in Canada. More than 10,000 U.S. students earn their degree in Canada each year, with rising numbers over the last decade.
I will be very surprised, given the U.S. economy, if many of our kids not only go there, but decide to stay there. I know a couple who don't even want to come home now.
Treitz is one of those students, but says being away from Fluffy is the hardest part of studying far from home.
I mean, who doesn't love a road trip, seriously? Road trips are just fun, always. Even if the road you're driving is really, really boring for hours. Great conversation with no matter who you're with, you're going to get to know them. And then you get to go home, or you get to come back here too, and that's an exciting part of it. So,
Brooks looks forward to the destination after his border crossing, but Treitz says her first stop in the U.S. is Dunkin' Donuts. As for her future after St. Thomas University,
To be honest, I'm not actually sure what my plans are after graduation. I think it's really just gonna depend on where my life is taking me. My boyfriend's Canadian and I'm American, so that's kind of going to be something that's going to be a factor, and also mainly just where I can find a job. So I'm open to both countries.
the Canadian government subsidizes post-secondary education far more than the U.S. These lower tuition rates benefit American students looking for an international experience without a trail of debt. High schools like Kingswood are catching on and encouraging students to look north. American students may have a long drive, have to get a passport, student visa, and convince their parents to let them study outside of the country. But they all say that the amount of money they'll save in student loans makes it all worth it. Not to mention the international experience. For STU Journalism, I'm Kaylee Moore.